Greetings, Spartan families. On behalf of the entire Lake Forest School District, I would like to welcome you back to another great school year. This year, we will be returning fully face-to-face for the first time since March of 2020. While we understand this is going to be a challenge, we know with everyone's support and willingness to keep themselves and their neighbors safe, we can do this. For at least the start of the school year, we will be observing many of the same protocols which were in effect last year. The use of face coverings, social distancing, and the daily health screeners will all help to keep us safe while we learn. Rest assured, we will relax the restrictions as soon as possible. But in the meantime, we ask everyone to persevere so we can get back into the classroom and back to the high standards of excellence we have come to know from Lake Forest schools. What follows in this video will help you see what you can expect in returning to school this year. This video, along with the accompanying safe return to instruction and continuity of services plan found on our website, should answer all of your questions about the upcoming school year. Of course, you can call your school or the central business office anytime if you still have other questions or wish to provide us input to any of our practices. We've been working closely with our leadership team this summer to make sure this year is going to be a success for every member of the community, and we've made sizable investments in ventilation upgrades, personal protective equipment, school facilities and equipment, and personnel to take the challenge of returning to school head-on. I ask everyone to be patient and cooperative as we work to get back to the face-to-face learning environment. It's not going to be easy, but neither is life if we do it right. So let's do this right. To close, I ask you to remain safe. I want you to be sure my family and I are praying for the health of our community and the wisdom of our leaders to help us push through the current health crisis. Despite the challenges we expect, this is going to be a great school year, Spartans, and I look forward to seeing each of you on a Lake Forest school campus this year. Thank you.
This year, we are returning to an in-person instructional model. This section of the video explains what to expect when participating in the face-to-face instructional model. By state guidelines, all employees and students grades K-12 are required to wear a mask while indoors, regardless of vaccination status. There are no mask requirements while outdoors. Before sending your child to school each morning, you should complete the at-home health screener located in the Lake Forest Return to School guidelines. If your child answers yes or are feeling ill with any of the following symptoms, such as fever or chills, shortness of breath, muscle or body aches, please do not send your child to school. Instead, contact your child's healthcare provider and school nurse. Students must stay home if they are exhibiting any symptoms of COVID-19 or have been confirmed to have COVID-19, or if required by Delaware Public Health to isolate or quarantine. Federal law currently requires mask wearing on buses, except when doing so would inhibit the health of the individual. CDC recommends that schools create distance between children on the bus when possible. All students will be assigned to a seat. Windows and roof hatches that allow for maximum airflow will be open as weather permits. Students will enter the building respecting recommended social distancing guidelines through their designated entrance. Students will continue to respect the recommended social distancing guidelines while navigating through the school buildings when possible. Inside the classroom, students' desks will be placed 3 feet apart and facing the same direction when possible. Students will have assigned seats. Students and staff are required to wear masks. Students are encouraged to bring water bottles to school, as again, we will not have traditional water fountains available. Students will have access to water filling stations to fill their bottles. Custodians are responsible for cleaning all high-touch areas in the hallways and bathrooms throughout the school day. The recess, playground, and equipment will be utilized by students. Students do not need to wear masks during recess while outside. Students will adhere to recommended distancing protocols when possible. The outdoor playground areas will be routinely cleaned. Students will be provided a traditional lunch. Students will line up following the recommended social distancing guidelines when possible. Students will move to their assigned lunchroom seat until directed. Although school visits will be limited, any visitor coming to school to pick up a student will need to check into the main office and wear a mask. Visitors should come to the school if they have a scheduled meeting, signing a child in or out of school, or have official business. Visitors coming in to sign a student out of school will need to wait in the entrance vestibule to receive their child when possible. The following information has been provided to the district by the Department of Health. Positive case individuals. If a student has a symptomatic positive case of COVID-19, the student should isolate for at least 10 days from the onset of symptoms and until at least 24 hours of symptom improvement without fever while not on fever-reducing medication. If a student has an asymptomatic positive case of COVID-19, the student should isolate for 10 days following the test date, specimen collection date, as long as the individual remains without symptoms. An individual who has been in close proximity within 6 feet of a laboratory-confirmed or probable COVID-19 individual for a total of 15 minutes or more on either or both of the 2 days prior to the individual's symptom onset or positive test. In all indoor school settings, individuals who meet the 15-minute total time of exposure while less than 6 feet should be considered close contacts, with or without face coverings. Close contacts may return to school 10 days from the date of their last exposure to the positive case, or 7 days with a negative test, either a PCR test on day 5 or 6 after exposure, or antigen test on the 7th day after exposure. Individuals who have tested positive in the previous 90 days for COVID-19 do not need to quarantine during this period. Likewise, a fully vaccinated individual who is 2 weeks post second dose or only dose of the vaccine does not need to quarantine after a known or suspected exposure to a positive case, if asymptomatic, but should still monitor for symptoms of COVID-19 for 14 days following exposure.
Well, there you have it, Spartans. I hope you found this video helpful. And as you know, our vision for the Lake Forest School District is to be the model for excellence in education. Our goal is to provide you the world-class education you deserve. We know if we do this together, we can make it happen. I thank you for listening and for watching, and I want you to have a great school year. Take care.